Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Noble, and I'm a senior product manager at PagerDuty focused on solving problems with automation. Let's go over the agenda. First, I'll talk about why organizations use runbook automation, how automation helps teams, and how our newest runbook automation tool, Runbook Actions, addresses the common roadblocks that you may have encountered before. Then I'll spend some time walking through the exciting feature that we announced at our product keynote called Runbook Actions. Finally, I'll provide more information on when Runbook Actions will be available for you to try and preview, and when it will be generally available and what's coming up after. Let's talk about when you would need Runbook automation. Let me explain with an example. I'd like to introduce you to Jenna. She's managing the payments team for an e-commerce company called Acme Co. They're a typical organization going through a digital transformation. Their services used to be fully on-premise, but over the last year, they've started to migrate to the cloud, but they haven't yet finished. They've updated their development practices to be almost fully CI/CD, with most of their monitoring now being cloud-based. And of course, they are avid users of PagerDuty for on-call management and incident response. They've also been automating everything they can, specifically their planned development work. Up until a short while ago, they were managing to continue migrating their services to the cloud with a minimal amount of downtime and on-call pain. Recently, Acme Co.'s site traffic went through the roof. Their e-commerce business is booming. They're pulling in more revenue than ever before. As a result, Jenna's team has been forced to scale out and improve their payment services to meet the demand. But they're struggling to keep pace with how often they need to respond to incidents, and their migration work has come to a standstill. Jenna's team isn't alone in this, as other dependent services like checkout and user identity have been having their share of incidents, and they are frequently escalating to the payments team. During this time of heightened on-call load, Jenna's team has come to rely on a set of diagnostic steps, mainly commands and scripts that inform them about the health and state of their services. This information makes their triage and remediation much easier and faster. One developer on our team started an informal runbook to gather all these processes. Over time, it has been passed around and has become a template on how to quickly assess. Occasionally, these diagnostics indicate that all the payment service needs is a quick restart. It might not fix the underlying problem, but it gets the payment service back to a healthy state, which is what's best for the customer. One problem that has come up is that everyone on the team has started to use their own version of the runbook. Some skip steps, some have added new additions to the scripts. It's getting hard to understand what the right visibility looks like and how to keep everyone's version of automation up to date. So to summarize, Jenna's team has already started to use automation to address their unplanned work, and it's definitely helping, but it's fragmented and inconsistent. So the logical next step would be to formalize this automation so that everyone is running the same scripts. Sounds easy, but there are common roadblocks that are just pesky enough that a lot of teams find them difficult to navigate. The most common roadblock is an objection from the security team. This may not even be a true objection. It might just be a long process. In other words, getting a new automation process to pass a security review can take a lot of time and effort, even for something as simple as an external tool triggering a server restart. Security will want to know a lot of detail about how it is triggered, what changes will be made, how it is tracked, and if an inbound communication like a webhook needs to be authorized and cleared. Next, even if you get your automation provisionally approved by security, someone is going to want a way to manage an audit. Who is creating any new automation? Who made changes to it? Who gets to use it? What conditions it can be used in? What specifically gets run? When it was used, and many other use cases. In short, you're quickly going to find yourself asking these questions once you start using automation frequently. Third is know-how. You might have a lot of scripted automation, but your frontline responders may not have the knowledge, ability, or even access credentials to use it effectively. Alternatively, you might have really highly skilled people, but what happens when they have a dependent service that is causing an issue? Your experts can't be expected to know how everything works. So the common response is to escalate to someone who has the skills and knowledge to do the job. This increases the time to resolution, which translates to a bigger downtime cost. What about centralization? Where do you put it? In a wiki, in a repository? How do you keep it updated? Frequently, the story that I hear is that there's little bits of automation everywhere, done in different ways, captured in different places. Keeping track of it, knowing what is out there, and knowing how to access it when you need it is a tough problem to solve. Okay, so you've passed security, you've figured out how to audit, you've somehow bridged the gap and made it possible to share your automation with other teams, and make it easy for your level 1 responders to use, and you centralized it. But what's left? Finally, I'll bet that you want to be able to prove that your investment in automation is worthwhile. Of course, you can demonstrate this at a high level through a reduced MTTR, but the important details are where automation is being most or least effective, and if each individual automation investment has proved to be worthwhile. I know that you will want to be able to demonstrate to your leaders and to the rest of the organization that automation is helping and that the company should continue to invest in more of it. Knowing all this, we at PagerDuty went out and created a solution to help Jenna and you solve these problems. I'm excited to introduce to you Runbook Actions, our newest Runbook automation feature that was just announced during the product keynote. Runbook Actions connects the automation you depend on to get the job done to the people who need it the most at the time they need it. Runbook Actions has 2 big parts. One is the ability to create and manage scripted actions in PagerDuty, and the other is the software package that we call an action runner. You install a runner anywhere that you need to action your scripts and report back the results to PagerDuty. This is the perfect tool for Jenna's team to standardize their automation, share it with dependent teams, and give their responders the trust that they need to know that they are running the right automation. Of course, there's a lot more detail to this, so let's walk through how it works. Let's start with explaining actions. Here's the new place where you can manage all of your automation in one place. Here, I can search for the action that I want, but I'm also able to see which ones are relevant to me by filtering by team or service. We've made it really easy to add new actions, and you can create as many actions as you need. This process takes just a few minutes, and you start by adding the action name, description, and the script to be executed. Next, you'll decide which teams have access to run or maintain it in the future, what service it belongs to so that it will be available to run when an incident happens, and what action runners the script is authorized to run on. I've mentioned the action runner a few times now without really explaining the whole story. Let me tell you how it works. The action runner is the key to making Runbook Actions safe and secure. It provides the method to connect the action in PagerDuty to the service where it needs to run. The action runner pulls out to PagerDuty periodically and asks if there are any new triggered actions. If there's one that needs to be executed, the runner handles fetching the credentials from your secret store, invocation of the script, and reporting the output back to be viewed on the incident. We've made it really simple to download and install each runner that you need. So now that I've gone over the 2 configuration steps, I'll walk you through how Runbook Actions are used on an incident. Let's say I've set up a set of actions and installed my runners. The next time an incident happens, I'll be able to find the relevant diagnostics and remediation steps, like restarting a server or clearing cache, using the new Run Actions menu. Remember how I mentioned that you'll need to select the service and team for each action? This menu will only show me the actions that I have access to run and that are also tied to this service where this incident is happening. In other words, I don't have to filter through a big list of actions that aren't relevant or that I don't have access to run anyway. I also have easy access to all of my response plays, custom incident actions, and automation triggers. And if I need to further mobilize my team or send a webhook out to create a ticket. When I want to trigger the action, I'll have an opportunity to review my script and when it was last run before confirming that I want to run it. When I start the action, I immediately get feedback that I've successfully started it and that the action runner has picked it up. If this is a long-running process, I'll get feedback that it is running and a link to the streaming output that I've set up for the script to return. At the end, I'll get a clear signal that the script is finished with a link to view the logs, remediation, confirmation, diagnostics, or whatever else I've programmed the action to complete. When I follow this link, I'm brought to the output report, where I can see the results as they are happening, or just when I want to see the final result. I can access this report in the future through the incident timeline. I can also send a link of this report to my team for collaboration during the incident for post-mortem analysis. So now circling back to Jenna, Runbook Actions was exactly what she was looking for. Her team has already started to transfer all of the disparate automation scripts that they have been using into PagerDuty so that they have them ready at their fingertips the next time they need one. Now, sharing payment service Runbook Actions with other teams has already had a de-escalation effect. In other words, escalations to the payments team are down and her team is much happier. And now whenever one of her experts thinks of something novel that can make incident response quicker, it can be quickly and easily captured as a Runbook action. Now let's fast forward to the future. Jenna's team has started to want to accomplish increasingly more complex remediation actions, like rolling restarts and multiple fallbacks that have intricate steps in multiple systems that execute through multiple different tools, with some scripts running concurrently and others consecutively. Acmeco has now matured into needing a more sophisticated tool for the response automation. And the great news is that Rundeck is up to the task. I'm happy to say that we've designed Runbook Actions in the Action Runner to be able to trigger Runbook jobs and workflows so that Jenna's team can still easily centralize all their simple and complex automation all in one place without needing to switch context. Now, I've told you the story about Runbook Actions. Let's talk about when you'll be able to use it. So today, I'm announcing that we have launched Runbook Actions for customer preview. We've already started to work with many of our great customers who want to work with us to make Runbook Actions an amazing automation tool that we're always looking for more customers to join. Our preview will last through the summer, and we are planning on launching Runbook Actions for general availability later this fall. Next, we will want to make it so you don't even need to push a button to trigger a Runbook action. Our next step will be to connect Runbook Actions to event rules so that you can use event data to decide what diagnostics or remediation action should be run at the start of an incident automatically. Finally, we want to make Runbook Actions available everywhere you work. Integrating Runbook Actions to Slack and Microsoft Teams will let your teams stay in one context when they are collaborating on an incident. So to sum it all up, reach out to me, your customer success or sales representative, if you are interested in Runbook Actions preview. Next, join me and our solution consultants at our Runbook automation booth, where you can see a live demo of Runbook Actions. And of course, visit our website to learn more about PagerDuty Runbook automation and how it'll make your unplanned work quicker, easier, and safer.